Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow, and today we're going to be talking about Cardano's, well, not just Cardano's, but now even Base World Mobile token. Now, I personally think you forgot to be bullish on World Mobile and World Mobile Token X because of the recent transition from tokens and just a whole bunch of gobbledygook going on that's been confusing a lot of people. And it's created a little bit of a sentiment issue, but ultimately I think it's going to be quickly resolved. And as such, I think we're going to continue building in bullish momentum for World Mobile Token. I've been a supporter of World Mobile Token since, God, I don't even remember. A lot of you guys could probably tell me. And this is actually a paid segment, which I don't think they've ever done. And I think they're doing that. They're reaching out to some of us who've been long-term supporters of World Mobile Token just to basically remind everybody there's a lot going on that you're not familiar with. And that's what we're going to cover today in this video. So make sure you stick around and watch it through to the end because you're going to learn a lot. And you're going to understand why World Mobile Token X or WMTx is very likely going to take over the DePIN markets over the course of now to through 2025. Now, one of the first things I want to address is the token migration. You know, initially, World Mobile Token was built on Cardano, but the idea has always been for kind of a bridged or interoperable token usable by multiple networks and blockchains. And, you know, if you're going to try and connect the unconnected, if you will, across the world, that reach is going to be dependent upon the network itself and the users in the communities of those tokens. So it really only makes sense to try and broaden your reach to as many different blockchains as possible. So we have Cardano and then we have Base. And I know that early on, a lot of people felt kind of snubbed in the Cardano community. And I think to some extent, it's brought down some of the attention levels because obviously the Cardano community is huge. And due to the recent pump in Cardano's price and everything going on related to Cardano, I'm sure that World Mobile wants to capitalize on some of that and let everybody know, hey, listen, we're not just on Cardano, we're also on another network. That's okay. We're going to continue to grow, but we want you to focus on what we're actually doing. Less tribalism, more based on the fundamentals of growth and what's happening on World Mobile. And there's been some confusion. Obviously, I myself have also been a little confused as to the token migration and, you know, having what I believe to be a fairly short window. But it's been pointed out to me by Mickey directly, hey, we're working on a system where everybody's going to be able to migrate their tokens anytime they need to manually. And that's coming very, very soon. I will say look for that within the next week to 2 weeks. OK, so know that that's coming and you're going to be able to do whatever you need to migrate your World Mobile tokens to the WMTx. So don't worry about that. It's happening. They're very well aware. They're working on it. It's coming soon. But this is a guide for those of you that still need it to basically be able to take and migrate your tokens and basically what the process has been. Now, there is a system coming, so don't worry about that. But the link for this guide is going to be in the description below. Make sure you check that out. Now, when we talk about World Mobile Token and basically what they are, they're effectively a system that connects the unconnected. They're building new ground across the globe, and they're ultimately connecting people with internet service and mobile services. And there are some competitors sort of in the space, Helium being one of them. And Helium's been around for a little while and it's been growing. But personally, I was about to get into Helium really big back when it was like $2. And the more I looked into their hardware and the more I looked into the systems by which Helium works, it just felt odd to me. And I'm not just saying this because this is a segment for World Mobile. I've said this before multiple times. Their system just felt odd. It almost felt like my profit potential was more related to the number of people buying additional hardware in my market to connect to my mesh than it was about the actual usage for data and all of that and the tokenomics and everything else. It just seemed really odd. And I didn't buy into it. I think what I was looking at doing at the time, I think it was like $100,000. And I was really close. And then I just thought, you know what, this just doesn't feel right. And I didn't move forward. Probably would have been in a better position today had I done that, but that's okay. I'm still a big holder of World Mobile. Okay. As a matter of fact, I just recently found my tokens and I'm very glad that I did. But you can see just on this chart, This is from October 8th of 2024. And this is World Mobile Token X daily active users. You can see it's consistently climbing. It had a bit of a dip here, but we're all the way up to about 110,000 users. And it's actually higher than that. Because if you look here, well, okay, so unique users over the last 24 hours, you can see down here on the left, is about 108,000. Network uptime so far to date, 938 days, 1 hour and 6 minutes. And there's a total of 2,534 air nodes with a total consumption of 290.33 terabytes. And if you look at this map, this is an interactive map where you can see basically where the technology originally, basically where the technology is spreading, where people are being connected. You can see here in Tanzania, we've got a network here. We've got another network over here in Lahore. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Is it Lahore? I'm not sure. But it's over in Pakistan. And then what you notice recently is the United States. Now, this is one of the key factors that I want to point out as we go over some of this stuff with World Mobile, because to do a lot of what they've done in other countries, they've been able to do that much more effectively, a little more easy than they have been in the United States. Why? Well, regulation, red tape, all sorts of stuff that they've had to navigate and manage just to get the licensing to be able to operate inside the United States. And you're talking about a system that's basically going head to head with the major telecom companies, the AT&Ts, the Verizons, all of these major corporations that pay a lot of lobbying and do a lot of stuff to make sure that the rules are in their favor. Okay. So a telecom company or a DPIN company, a blockchain based telecom company, no less, being able to break through all of that red tape to start breaking ground. I almost said breaking ground into the United States market is a really, really big deal that I believe, especially between now and 2030, which is basically where I'm setting my long-term metrics for World Mobile Token. Between now and 2030, I think is going to be astronomical growth across the board. And you can see they've already got substantial growth, more growth in the United States in its infancy of this relationship and this breaking through with licensing and things than pretty much anywhere else. And you can see that the numbers have been growing pretty substantially as well. Big uptime in Washington, Nevada, and even parts of California. I know personally that there are a lot of areas throughout Florida that could use this, especially maybe not necessarily mobile, but for high-speed internet. There are a lot of rural, that word's always difficult for me to say, but there are a lot of rural communities all throughout the United States that will greatly benefit, because a lot of these places, when I first moved to Florida, there were areas that just could not get high-speed internet. You're looking at like 25 megabyte. Yes, I said 25 megabyte internet connectivity, and they're charging like $50 a month for that. And they know, and they're charging astronomical fees for that. It could be a cross between, well, you don't have a choice, so F you pay me, or it's like, it's going to be, it costs a lot to maintain these older not dial up. It's not quite dial up, but these older DSL networks compared to like fiber optics and things. So there's a lot of people that are not yet connected to high speed internet all over Florida, all over the United States. And the cost, a lot of these communities are waiting for what basically amounts to $100,000 pole-to-pole lines. So I asked, well, what does it take to get this service here? And they said, well, you're about this many poles away from the latest or the last node or the last connection for the fiber. And it basically costs about $100,000 pole to pole. And depending on the number of poles you have that would connect you, that's how much it would cost. And they say you could pay for that out of pocket if you really need fiber that bad, or you have to wait until everything lines up and they basically suffer the expense of installing those systems themselves. Well, there are places like this all over the United States that would greatly benefit from these systems. of World Mobile. So that's what they're doing. And I just messaged them too. And I said, hey man, if there's a way that I could facilitate getting more people connected throughout Florida, let me know. I'm more than happy to do that. And so that's basically what's happening here. So you can see there's significant growth. If we look at the token itself, you can see that it's currently trading at around 40 cents with a high in the last bull market of about 91 cents. I believe that this is going to get blown out of the water in 2025, quite frankly. And between now and 2030, there's really no end in sight. I'm not just saying that because this is sponsored. You guys that have been following me for years know I've been a big proponent of World Mobile and what they've done for years. This isn't just me doing a paid video and trying to steer you guys wrong. You know that's not how I work anyway. I've been paid all the time by companies, and I'll tell you flat out to stay away. This is a really big deal. Now, the price is down about 20%, and I do believe that is because of the sentiment of the token migration, some of the confusion established because of that. I know that they're working on clearing a lot of that up, but the trading volume is only down 3.25%. If I look at other projects such as Helium's currently trading at 666. Well, how about them apples? You can't play in that. Volume is currently at about 29.38 million, down 15%, and its high in the last bull market looked to be $50. Now, that all sounds good, but I'm telling you, I still have my reservations about Helium. Maybe it's time for me to dive deeper into them again and find out what's changed since the last time I almost invested 100 grand into some setups, and see what has happened. And I originally learned about Helium from Vosk Mines, I think it is. Super cool dude. I've never met him personally, but I love his channel. He's basically like the mining guru. If there's a device that lets you mine crypto, he's got it covered, and he's just fantastic. And that's where I originally learned about Helium. And I think even he had some reservations about the network. But then if we want to look at an infrastructure token that's focused around DPIN, which is Peak, they have no cap on market supply. Their max supply is whatever it ends up being. I don't like that. Their price is down 14.31% and their volume is down 43.25%. So technically, if you look at just by the numbers, World Mobile Token's doing better than a lot of them, but they have a 2 billion token max supply. So their supply is capped. Everything is much more structured, and ultimately it shows because the price isn't moving down. It's basically moving up. And you can see it's low, like back here in 2022 was at 13 cents. We're up to 40 cents. I think this was in March. Yeah, March it hit 40 cents. So basically we're at local highs right now, and it's just getting started. This is one thing that I really wanted to do a long time ago. I was never able to because these things sell out so quickly, but their air nodes and their systems for basically supplying hardware for like the mesh networks that they build in other markets and things. I really wanted to do this. I still want to do this if I can figure out how to. But you can see, man, like these are the different nodes that you can obtain, and these nodes will offer different returns. These returns are paid out in USD stable tokens. They're not paid out in World Mobile tokens. So this is basically if you're able to get your hands on a node, which typically you can get them on the secondary market by some who basically speculate on the value of the nodes, and rightfully so because they seem to do pretty well because the demand is pretty high for these. Now, a 180 portal is about $9 grand. And, you know, if I just had 15 subscribers on my $9,000 portal, that's about $2,160 a year. Payback period for that hardware is about 50 months. The more subscribers you obtain, obviously, the better you do. So effectively, I think you could potentially turn this into a side business. You know, you could. One of my ideas and one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is if I'm able to set up some sort of node to connect the unconnected, I might even see about, and I have to, there's licensing, there's regulation, there's all kinds of stuff associated with this. So I'm not sure if I could even do it legally. I have to make sure. But I wouldn't mind doing like an every house mailer, maybe a couple times. Maybe that cost me $1,000 or something like that to basically send a postcard with the data for this. Hey, we can get you connected, and this is how it works. This is how much cheaper it is. We can get you connected. Go to this website to learn more, that kind of thing. That's a very, very effective way to market a service like this that's basically going to empower people to get connected to the internet outside of just like 25 megabyte dial up or DSL. So that's basically my plan for that. You can get these Spark Air nodes that are basically coming very soon. They're very, very cost effective. These Spark Air nodes are bomb. This video right here, I'm pretty sure is the World Mobile team in Charles Hoskinson's Black Hawk helicopter. And I could be wrong. They could have a different one, because I know early on when I was seeing everything that was happening was it North Carolina, and how they were struggling, and people were trying to like rescue people all over the mountains, the forests, all over the place, and they were using a variety of different helicopters, and a lot of them were being basically pushed back and said, don't come. And I asked Charles about it, and I was messaging him, and I'm like, listen, a lot of these people are trying to rescue and provide services to help the victims of the flooding and everything. And I said, but I guess FEMA and whoever else is sending these people away. And Charles said basically, yeah, he goes, it looks bad, but it's basically because they're trying to use the wrong type of helicopters that are not made for these sorts of rescue missions. And he was like, they need Black Hawk helicopters. That's what they're built for, getting in and out of difficult terrain, difficult situations. And that's when Charles basically sent his over and contributed his badass Black Hawk helicopter, and they used it for different things to help. And you didn't even see him parading around the internet, bragging about it, telling everybody about it. He was sharing different things as it was happening. But I don't even know how clear he made it that was his, that he basically contributed to the cause. And I'm pretty sure that this is the one that World Mobile Token and other groups were using. I saw, one of Trump's sons taking group photos and things like that. But that's basically what World Mobile Token is doing here. They're connecting everybody in a newly built mesh network with equipment on their system. This is such big stuff, people. And there's two reasons why I'm a big proponent of World Mobile. Number one, because there's no tech like it. There really is no tech like it. There are competitors doing things their way, but when you see how Mickey has taken this company from an idea, a concept, a launch project, and everything that they've achieved to date, you could look at it either from a speculative perspective, like I'm going to invest in this because I want to be a part of something great, or you could basically look at it like such a powerful, I don't know how else to put it other than like a global service for people that absolutely need it. And when you're talking about connected the unconnected, and you're bridging the gap between all of these communities that's consistently growing over and over, week after week, month after month, and all of the people that are now going to be able to participate in real world asset tokenization and basically Web3 and hell, just to be able to do business on the internet. For a lot of these communities the world over is such a big deal. And World Mobile Token, I believe, is going to become a much more significant powerhouse, not only in the DePIN sector, not only in the blockchain sector, but in the telecom sector overall. And as it continues to do that, the tokens are going to become more and more valuable. And I believe that this project overall is going to be extremely sought after. I feel like Cardano, that basically grew and consistently just focused on being boots on the ground, doing what they need to do to build an infrastructure that can empower so many that we're seeing now build all these partnerships, and all of this stuff is starting to come together for Cardano as it was originally intended and planned from the beginning, that so few understood. I believe that World Mobile Token is very much in the same boots. on the ground, focusing on building, expanding their infrastructure, getting the licensing to be able to expand in new territories and much more beneficial territories, both from a business perspective and a need basis. And I think that we're going to just continue to see astronomical growth with World Mobile Token, which is why I'm very, very glad that I've held on to. I have 100,000 World Mobile Tokens, folks. I've had them for years now, and I'm not planning on getting rid of them anytime soon. I want to be a part of this ride because to me, I feel like I'm a part of history in the making, and I'm very proud of my position in World Mobile Token beyond just speculation. The same way I've been proud of being a part of my Cardano all of this time. You guys know when I sold my Cardano, when the market was at the height, I was emotional as hell about it. I really felt like I was cutting off my arms and legs. I felt like a part of me was missing, a part of me that has been a part of me since 2017 and really a significant part of my entire journey through cryptocurrency. And for me, I was in such a hurry to just, will this market come down? I want it to keep coming down. I want to be able to start averaging back in. And I did. I finally made my first average back into Cardano at 50 cents. And I was not worried about it. I knew the price was going to continue going down from there, and it did. And I just continued averaging my position down until I felt comfortable. And I did that over the course of 2 years, folks. And I think my average price was somewhere around 30 something cents by the time all was said and done. And I was happy with that. And you guys witnessed my last buy of Cardano when I basically bought 3 Bitcoin worth of Cardano. And I think I got like 400 something thousand at the time. And a lot of you guys thought I was crazy. What do you think now? So I'm pretty good at figuring out, you know, in the grand scale, what I believe is going to do well long term. I look at things more from a retirement perspective, not necessarily just what is this going to do for me tomorrow. And I believe that that's also what gives me the strength to hold through the difficult times of uncertainty and allow myself the room to breathe and not worry so much about what the naysayers or the fudders or the confusion of this or that really have to do. I look at the long-term picture, what's being provided right now, what's going to be provided tomorrow, and what does that mean for me and the rest of the world. And if it's a good thing, there's no reason why I need to get out. And so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. There's some notes that I wanted to point out that I have in a note sheet. World Mobile Token X is the only DPIN token to also function as a gas token on its own network, which is required to settle transactions made by customers on top of its original utility. That's a really big note. World Mobile Token X has a buyback program with real world revenue similar to Rollbit, Banana Gun, and staking rewards come from this pool. Now, my World Mobile Token has actually been staking. I have more than 100,000. I think I have like 118,000 now because I staked it in the World Mobile Token vault a couple years ago, and I've generated like 18,000 more tokens than I started with, basically just letting them sit there through the bear market. So, you know, that's a pretty fun payday because I forgot all about that when I found my tokens again. I'm like, oh, well, son of a gun, I've got 18,000 more. I really do want to node. I really do want to participate in this network. I need to get on it. There's definitely more to understand and more to learn. There will be the links in the description below. If you have an interest in playing a part in not just the speculative value and the nature of World Mobile, but really being a part of what I believe is going to be history, continuing to unfold before our eyes. And I really believe that this is going to take on exponential growth between now and 2030. I know everybody's saying, what about 2025? We're going to be in 2025. Obviously, I believe we're going to be up. Okay. I believe World Mobile Token is going to do really well. I believe it's going to break the original all-time highs from the last market cycle. And I think it's going to do so. I really don't know. It's difficult. I need to crunch some numbers, and maybe I'll do a prediction video if the comments in this video merit the attention. You guys will have to let me know. If you engage with this video and you like what I'm doing here, let me know, and I will do a deep dive into the tokenomics, the use, all of it, and I will do a big prediction video for World Mobile Token next. Until next time, thanks for joining me. Make sure you check out the links below, and until next time, crow your coins, and I'll see you again soon.